Before we begin our peaceful journey into the ancient wisdom of Japan tonight, I'd love to know where you are in the world and what time it is for you right now. Please take a moment to leave a comment and let us know. There's something beautiful about knowing that people all around the globe in different time zones are joining together to find peace in these timeless teachings. If these stories bring you comfort and help quiet your mind, please consider subscribing. Your subscription helps us continue sharing these gentle paths to inner wisdom. As you settle into this quiet space, allow your breathing to slow and deepen. Your surroundings begin to fade as your imagination awakens. The sounds around you transform into the gentle rustle of bamboo leaves and the distant chime of a temple bell. You find yourself walking along a winding stone path, shaded by ancient cedar trees, leading deeper into the tranquil mountains of ancient Japan. You can feel the cool, smooth stones beneath your bare feet, polished by centuries of monks and pilgrims. Delicate cherry blossoms drift down from overhead, scattering like pink snow on the path before you. The air is fresh and clean, carrying the subtle scent of pine and damp earth. The sound of your own footsteps is a soft rhythm, mingling with the murmur of a nearby stream. As you round a bend, a magnificent sight comes into view. Nestled amidst the verdant hills, its dark wooden structures blending harmoniously with the natural landscape, stands an ancient Zen monastery. Its tiled roofs gleam softly in the dappled sunlight, and a serene garden of raked white sand and carefully placed rocks stretches out before its main hall. Smoke rises gently from a distant kitchen, and you can hear the rhythmic thud of a wooden mallet striking a mokugyo, calling the monks to meditation. You approach the monastery gates, where a young monk in simple grey robes greets you with a deep, respectful bow. His eyes are clear and calm, reflecting a quiet, inner peace. Without words, he gestures for you to follow him into the tranquil courtyard, where other monks are engaged in their daily practices. Some are meticulously raking the sand garden, creating perfect ripples that symbolize the ocean, while others tend to small, vibrant moss gardens. The monk leads you to a quiet corner of the courtyard, where an elderly master sits in zazen beneath a venerable cherry tree, its branches heavy with blossoms. This is Roshi Kageyama, known throughout the land for his profound wisdom, his piercing insights, and his ability to guide seekers to their own inner truth. His face bears the gentle lines of one who has spent countless hours in silent contemplation, yet his expression radiates a peace so deep it seems to emanate from the very core of his being. As you settle nearby on a woven tatami mat, other monks and visitors gather around Roshi Kageyama, a young samurai, his usually stern face etched with a rare vulnerability, approaches the master with a question that has been troubling him. He bows deeply, his katana resting respectfully at his side. "Roshi Kageyama," he says, his voice a low rumble, "I have trained my body and mind for battle for many years, yet I still find myself plagued by fear and doubt. When will I finally achieve the unwavering courage that leads to true mastery?" Roshi Kageyama's eyes, ancient and wise, meet the samurai's with gentle understanding. Instead of answering directly, he begins to tell a story, his voice a soft, resonant hum, like the distant sound of a temple bell echoing through the mountains. "Let me tell you about a time when I too was seeking this unwavering courage you speak of," he begins, his words flowing like a clear mountain spring. "Many years ago, when I was still a young monk, I was sent by my own master to meditate in a remote cave high on Mount Fuji. I was determined to conquer my fears and achieve a state of perfect fearlessness. Day after day, I sat in that cold, damp cave, battling against every shadow that danced in my mind, pushing away every unsettling sound, trying to force my spirit into an unshakable resolve. You can almost feel the chill of that high mountain cave as Roshi Kageyama continues his tale. For months, I struggled this way, becoming increasingly frustrated with my inability to banish my anxieties. The harder I tried to suppress my fears, the more intensely they seemed to manifest. It was like trying to hold back a raging river with my bare hands. The more I resisted, the more overwhelming the current became. The young samurai leans forward, clearly recognizing his own struggle in Roshi Kageyama's words. Around the courtyard, other listeners have quietly gathered, drawn by the master's gentle voice and the wisdom they sense flowing through his story. One morning, Roshi Kageyama continues, I emerged from my cave, feeling utterly defeated and exhausted. As I sat on a rocky ledge outside the cave entrance, watching the first rays of dawn paint the sky, I noticed something that changed my understanding forever. A tiny spider was meticulously weaving its web between two branches, delicate threads catching the morning dew. What struck me was not the beauty of the web, but the spider's complete dedication to its task. It moved with a quiet precision, repairing broken strands, extending new ones, never hesitating, never doubting. It was completely present in each movement, yet it was not trying to be present. It was not fighting against the wind or attempting to achieve some special state of mind. It was simply being itself, naturally and effortlessly, in the flow of its own nature. You feel a gentle breeze stir the cherry blossoms overhead as Roshi Kageyama pauses, allowing his words to settle into the hearts of his listeners like seeds finding fertile ground. In that moment, the master continues, I realized that I had been approaching courage like a warrior going to battle against an external enemy, when I should have been approaching it like that spider, naturally, without force, without the desperate need to achieve anything. The fearlessness I was seeking was not something to be created through effort, but something to be discovered through acceptance. I returned to my cave with this new understanding. Instead of fighting my fears, I began to observe them with the same gentle attention I had given to the spider. Instead of trying to push away unsettling thoughts, I allowed them to come and go like clouds passing through the sky. And gradually, I discovered that the courage I had been seeking was not the absence of fear, but the spacious awareness in which fear arises and dissolves, without controlling me. The young samurai's eyes widen with understanding, and you can see a visible relaxation in his posture as the tension of his striving begins to dissolve. Roshi Kageyama smiles and places a gentle hand on the young man's shoulder. The mind is like a garden, Roshi Kageyama says softly. Sometimes it is filled with weeds, sometimes it is blooming with flowers, but the garden itself is never disturbed by what grows within it. Your true nature is like that garden, vast, open, and naturally peaceful. You don't need to create this courage. You only need to recognize it within yourself and tend to your inner garden with mindful awareness. As the morning progresses, you watch the young samurai return to his practice with a new lightness in his step. The desperate striving has been replaced by a gentle curiosity, and you can sense that his path to mastery will never be quite the same. The sun climbs higher over the monastery roofs, and the daily rhythm of monastic life continues around you. You observe monks engaged in various activities, some practicing calligraphy with meticulous strokes, others preparing simple meals in the communal kitchen, still others engaged in quiet contemplation in the zendo. Each activity is performed with a quality of presence and attention that transforms even the most mundane tasks into expressions of spiritual practice. As the afternoon approaches, you notice a commotion near the monastery gates. A group of merchants has arrived, their silk robes and elaborate kimonos marking them as people of considerable wealth. Among them is a renowned tea master, his face a mask of refined elegance, yet his eyes betray a subtle restlessness. He has come seeking an audience with Roshi Kageyama, hoping to receive teachings that will bring him the perfect tranquility that his mastery of the tea ceremony has failed to provide. Roshi Kageyama, a serene figure with eyes that seem to hold the wisdom of countless lifetimes, receives the tea master in a simple tea hut overlooking a meticulously sculpted koi pond. You find yourself positioned where you can observe this encounter, sensing that something profound is about to unfold. The tea master bows deeply before Roshi Kageyama, his movements precise and graceful, yet betraying an underlying tension despite his outward show of composure. "Venerable Roshi," he begins, his voice carrying the urgency of one who has dedicated his life to an art. "I have perfected the way of tea, achieving a level of skill that is praised throughout the land. Yet I find myself more restless and dissatisfied than ever. Please, teach me how to find the perfect tranquility that seems to elude me." Roshi Kageyama listens with complete attention, his presence so still and centered that it seems to create a pocket of calm in the small tea hut. When the tea master finishes speaking, Roshi Kageyama nods slowly, and then, rather than offering immediate advice, begins to share a story. "There was once a humble potter," Roshi Kageyama begins, his voice carrying the gentle authority of one who has seen deeply into the nature of human striving and peace, who lived in a small village nestled in these very mountains. This potter owned nothing but a simple kiln, a few tools, and a small hut where he crafted his wares. You can almost see this humble potter as Roshi Kageyama describes him, working his clay with patient dedication, finding contentment in the simple rhythms of his craft. His hands covered in the earth he transforms. Despite his humble circumstances, Roshi Kageyama continues, this potter was known throughout the village for his serene disposition and the quiet beauty of his creations. He would spend hours at his wheel, shaping the clay with a focused intensity, yet his face always held a gentle smile. His pottery, though simple, possessed a profound elegance that spoke of the peace within its maker. The tea master shifts uncomfortably, perhaps beginning to sense where this story might lead. Roshi Kageyama's eyes hold a gentle compassion as he continues. One day, a renowned art collector, traveling through the region, stopped at the potter's humble workshop. The collector was amazed by the potter's obvious tranquility and the exquisite simplicity of his work. "How can you create such beauty and possess such inner peace with so little?" the collector asked. "I have vast collections of priceless art, yet I am constantly seeking the next masterpiece, always feeling a sense of incompleteness. What is your secret?" The potter thought for a moment, then smiled and said, "My lord, perhaps the difference is that you seek perfection in the finished piece, while I find perfection in the process of creation. You spend your energy acquiring and judging, while I spend mine in the mindful shaping of the clay, appreciating each moment of its transformation." Roshi Kageyama pauses, allowing the weight of these words to settle in the tea hut, like the delicate aroma of freshly brewed matcha. The tea master's face shows a mixture of recognition and resistance, as if he understands the truth of the story, but finds it difficult to accept. "But surely," the tea master protests, You're not suggesting that striving for perfection in one's art is a fault. I have dedicated my life to the pursuit of the perfect bowl of tea. Are you saying I should abandon my pursuit? Roshi Kageyama's smile deepens, and you can see the infinite patience of one who has had this conversation many times before. Not at all, he replies gently. The potter's peace did not come from abandoning his craft, but from his relationship to it. He held his creations lightly, without clinging to the outcome or fearing imperfection. He found joy in the act of making, rather than in the praise it might bring. The question is not whether you should strive for excellence or not, but whether your striving has you. Do you own your art, or does your art own you? Do you find satisfaction in the present moment of creation, or are you constantly worried about the judgment of others or the next achievement? Do you find joy in the process, or only in the fleeting moment of completion? You watch as these questions land in the tea master's consciousness like pebbles dropped into the still koi pond, creating ripples of recognition and contemplation. His shoulders seem to relax slightly as he begins to consider his relationship to his art from this new perspective. But how does one develop this lightness of being in such a demanding art? The tea master asks, his voice now carrying genuine curiosity rather than desperate seeking. How can I learn to pursue perfection without being consumed by it? Roshi Kageyama rises and walks to the edge of the tea hut, gazing out at the meticulously raked sand garden, where a young monk is now carefully placing a single, perfectly smooth stone. Come, he says, gesturing for the tea master to join him. Let me show you something. You follow as they move to the edge of the hut, where you can observe the scene below. In the sand garden, the young monk is arranging the stone with utmost care. His movements are slow and deliberate, and his face shows complete absorption in his task. Every adjustment of the stone receives his full attention, as if placing this single stone were the most important activity in the world. Watch this young monk, Roshi Kageyama says softly. See how he places the stone. He is not thinking about the final appearance of the garden, or whether his placement is good enough, or comparing it to how others might place it. He is simply present with the activity itself, finding completeness in each moment of the task. As you observe, you notice that the monk's action has a quality of meditation to it. There is no hurry, no sense of burden or obligation. Each movement flows naturally into the next, creating a rhythm that seems to harmonize with the gentle breeze and the distant chime of the temple bell. This is the secret, Roshi Kageyama continues. Whether you are arranging a stone in a garden or performing a complex tea ceremony, the key is to be fully present with what you are doing without being attached to the results. The monk places the stone not to achieve a perfect garden, but because placing the stone is what this moment calls for. When he finishes, he will move to his next activity with the same presence and attention. The tea master watches intently, and you can see understanding beginning to dawn in his eyes. So, you're saying that I can continue my pursuit of the way of tea, but I should approach it differently? Exactly, Roshi Kageyama nods. The problem is not your art or your striving for excellence, but your attachment to the outcome. When you can engage fully in your craft, without being driven by fear of imperfection or greed for praise, when you can enjoy the process without being consumed by the result, then you will find the tranquility you seek. But this seems so difficult, the tea master sighs. How can I change patterns of thinking and feeling that have been with me for so many years? Roshi Kageyama's eyes twinkle with gentle humor. Let me tell you another story, he says, settling back into his seat in the tea hut. There was once a master calligrapher who was renowned throughout the land for his incredible skill. People would travel from distant provinces to watch him paint, for he could capture the essence of a single brushstroke with breathtaking beauty. You settle in to listen, sensing that this story will reveal another layer of wisdom about the nature of mastery and attachment. One day, a young student approached this master calligrapher and begged to become his apprentice. "Master," he said, "I want to learn to paint as perfectly as you do. Please teach me your secrets." The master agreed to take him as a student, but his first instructions surprised the young man greatly. "For the first year," the master said, "you will not touch a brush or ink. Instead, you will spend your time learning to breathe." The student was confused and disappointed, but he trusted his teacher and began the strange training. Every day, the master would take the student to different locations and teach him to observe his breath with complete attention. They would sit by a waterfall and listen to the rhythm of the water, noting how it mirrored the inhale and exhale. They would observe the wind rustling through the bamboo, studying the subtle dance of movement and stillness that accompanied each gust. The master taught him to feel the breath entering and leaving his body, to notice the subtle pause between each breath, and to allow his mind to settle into the natural rhythm of his own being. He learned to breathe not just with his lungs, but with his entire body, with the earth beneath him, and with the vast sky above. After a year, the student returned to the master, his mind calm and his presence centered. "Now, you may pick up the brush," the master said. The student dipped the brush in ink, and with a single, effortless stroke, created a character that was both powerful and serene, a perfect reflection of his newfound inner peace. The master smiled. "You see," he said, "the secret to true calligraphy is not in the hand, but in the breath. When your breath is calm, your mind is calm. When your mind is calm, your hand moves with effortless grace. The art is not in controlling the brush, but in allowing the brush to be an extension of your own tranquil spirit." The tea master listens intently, his gaze fixed on Roshi Kageyama. You can see the profound impact of the story, a new understanding unfolding within him. The concept of finding tranquility, not through external perfection, but through internal harmony, resonates deeply. So, the way of tea, the tea master muses, is not just about the perfect preparation, but about the perfect presence within the preparation. Precisely, Roshi Kageyama affirms, the tea ceremony is a path to mindfulness, a moving meditation. Each gesture, each sound, each scent is an opportunity to return to the present moment, to find the stillness within the activity. When you pour the water, simply pour the water. When you whisk the matcha, simply whisk the matcha. Let go of the desire for a perfect outcome and allow the perfection of the moment to reveal itself. As the afternoon wanes, the tea master bows deeply, a genuine sense of peace now radiating from him. He has found not just an answer, but a new way of being, a new approach to his beloved art. He understands that true mastery is not about control, but about surrender to the flow of life. You feel a profound sense of calm settling over the monastery. The sounds of daily life continue, but they are no longer distractions. They are part of the harmonious symphony of existence. The sun begins to dip below the mountain peaks, casting long shadows across the sand garden, and the air grows cooler, carrying the sweet scent of evening blossoms. As twilight deepens, you find yourself drawn to the zendo, the meditation hall. Inside, The monks are gathered for evening zazen. You quietly take a seat on a cushion, joining them in silent meditation. The air is still, filled only with the gentle rhythm of breathing and the occasional distant croak of a frog from the koi pond. In this profound stillness, you feel your own mind begin to quiet. The thoughts that once raced through your head now slow, becoming like distant clouds drifting across a vast, clear sky. You are not trying to stop them, merely observing them, allowing them to pass without judgment or attachment. Your body feels heavy and relaxed, sinking deeper into the cushion. The worries of the day, the anxieties of the future, all begin to recede, replaced by a deep sense of peace and contentment. You are simply here, in this moment, breathing, being. The soft glow of a single lantern illuminates the hall, casting long, dancing shadows on the walls. The scent of incense fills the air, a subtle fragrance that deepens your sense of calm. You are aware of the presence of the other monks, their quiet dedication a comforting anchor in the stillness. As the meditation continues, you feel a sense of unity with everything around you. The ancient monastery, the serene garden, the vast mountains, and the endless sky. There is no separation, no distinction between yourself and the world. All is one, interconnected, harmonious. This is the essence of Zen, not a philosophy to be understood intellectually, but an experience to be lived, a state of being to be realized. It is the recognition of your own true nature, vast and boundless, peaceful and free. As the zazen concludes, a monk gently strikes a small bell, its clear, resonant tone echoing through the hall, a reminder to carry this stillness into the world. You rise slowly, feeling refreshed and renewed, your mind clear, your spirit light. You step out into the cool night air. The moon, a luminous pearl, hangs high in the sky, casting a soft, silvery light over the monastery. The stars twinkle like countless diamonds, each one a distant sun, a reminder of the vastness and wonder of the universe. You walk back along the stone path, the cherry blossoms now illuminated by moonlight, their delicate beauty even more ethereal. The sounds of the night, the chirping of crickets, the gentle murmur of the stream are like a lullaby, guiding you deeper into relaxation. As you approach the monastery gates, you turn for one last look. The ancient Zen temple stands as a beacon of peace, a timeless sanctuary in the heart of the mountains. You carry its tranquility within you, a precious gift to guide you through the night. Your journey through the ancient Zen monastery has come to a gentle close. You are now ready to drift into a deep, restorative sleep, carrying with you the wisdom of stillness, the peace of presence, and the unwavering calm of your own true nature. Allow these feelings to wash over you, soothing every part of your being. Your body feels heavy and relaxed, your mind peaceful and clear. You are safe, you are secure, you are at peace. Drift deeper and deeper into sleep, knowing that this tranquility is always within you, a sanctuary you can return to at any time. Let go of any remaining thoughts or tensions, surrendering completely to the embrace of deep, peaceful slumber. Good night, sweet dreams, and may your sleep be filled with profound peace. Before you completely drift off, if you enjoyed this journey and found peace in these words, please consider leaving a comment to let us know where you are watching from and what time it is for you. Your engagement helps our community grow and allows us to continue sharing these tranquil stories. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel for more peaceful journeys into wisdom. Thank you for joining us. May your night be blessed with profound rest and serene dreams. As the days turn into a gentle rhythm of meditation, mindful work, and quiet contemplation, you find yourself becoming more and more attuned to the subtle beauty of the monastery. The initial novelty of the place has softened into a deep, comforting familiarity. The morning mist that blankets the mountains, the afternoon sun that warms the ancient wooden corridors, the evening chorus of cicadas, all have become part of your own inner landscape. One afternoon, as you are helping an older monk tend to a vibrant moss garden, you notice a young woman arriving at the monastery gates. She is dressed in the simple, practical garments of a village artisan, her hands stained with the faint colors of dyes. Her face, though youthful, carries a shadow of deep weariness and creative block. She has come seeking an audience with Roshi Kageyama. Her last hope to rediscover the inspiration she feels has abandoned her. Roshi Kageyama receives her not in a formal hall, but in the monastery's small, rustic pottery studio. The air is thick with the earthy scent of clay, and shelves are lined with bowls, vases, and cups in various stages of completion. You find a quiet corner to observe, sensing that another profound lesson is about to unfold. The young artisan bows, her movements respectful but heavy with despondency. Roshi Kageyama, she begins, her voice barely a whisper. I am a weaver. My family has practiced this craft for generations. It was once my greatest joy, but now my loom is silent. My mind is a barren field. I have no new patterns, no new colors, no inspiration. I fear the spirit of my ancestors has left me. Please, can you teach me how to find my creativity again? Roshi Kageyama listens with the same unwavering attention he gives to all who seek his counsel. His gaze is soft, yet it seems to penetrate to the very heart of the young woman's suffering. When she falls silent, he doesn't speak. Instead, he picks up a lump of raw, shapeless clay from a nearby table. He gestures for the weaver to sit beside him at the potter's wheel. The mind is like this clay, he says, his voice as gentle as the pressure of his hands on the earth. He begins to work the wheel with his foot, and the lump of clay begins to spin. It can be shaped, molded, and transformed, but first, it must be centered. He places his hands on the spinning clay, his touch both firm and yielding. The clay wobbles, resists, and then, under his steady guidance, finds its center, rising into a smooth, symmetrical cone. The young weaver watches, mesmerized by the simple, profound act. You seek inspiration as if it were a rare bird that must be captured, Roshi Kageyama continues, his hands beginning to shape the clay, forming the beginnings of a simple bowl. You look for it outside yourself, in the world of patterns and colors, but true inspiration, true creativity, does not come from without. It arises from the stillness within. He pauses, his hands resting on the spinning form. Let me tell you a story of a great painter, a master of sumie, the art of ink-wash painting. His name was Sessen, and he was known for his ability to capture the soul of a landscape with just a few strokes of his brush. You can almost smell the fragrant ink and see the delicate rice paper as the Roshi's story begins to take shape, much like the bowl on the wheel. Sessen, in his youth, was much like you, the Roshi says, his eyes meeting the weaver's. He was technically brilliant. He could paint a bamboo stalk so perfectly that you could almost hear the wind rustling its leaves. He could paint a mountain so precisely that you could identify every rock and tree. Yet, his paintings, for all their perfection, lacked a certain spirit. They were beautiful, but they did not breathe. Frustrated, Sesson went to his own master, a wizened old monk who lived in a hermitage by the sea. "Master," Sesson said, "I have mastered every technique. I have studied every scroll. Why do my paintings feel so lifeless?" The old master did not look at Sesson's paintings. Instead, he pointed to the ocean. "For the next year," he said, "you will not paint. You will only watch the waves. You will watch them in the calm of dawn, in the fury of a storm, in the quiet of moonlight. You will learn the ocean's heart." Sesson was dismayed, but he obeyed. He put away his brushes and his inkstone. He built a small hut on the cliffs, and for a year, he did nothing but watch the sea. He saw the infinite ways the water moved, the endless patterns of foam, the subtle shifts of color from gray to green to the deepest indigo. He felt the rhythm of the tides in his own body. He learned the ocean's moods, its anger, its joy, its profound, deep peace. He forgot about painting. He forgot about technique. He forgot about himself. He became one with the sea. At the end of the year, he returned to the hermitage. The master simply handed him a brush and a fresh sheet of paper. Sesson dipped the brush in the ink, and without thinking, without planning, his hand moved. In a few swift, fluid strokes, a wave appeared on the paper. It was not a perfect, technical drawing of a wave. It was the wave itself. It had the power, the movement, the very soul of the ocean within it. He had not painted a wave. He had allowed the wave to paint itself through him. Roshi Kageyama's hands, which had been still during the story, now move again on the clay. With a final, gentle touch, he completes the bowl. It is a simple, humble vessel, yet it possesses a quiet, profound beauty. It is perfectly imperfect, bearing the subtle marks of the maker's hands, a testament to the process of its creation. He lifts the bowl from the wheel. "Your mind has become too full of the idea of weaving," he says to the young woman. "You are trying to force the patterns. You are looking for the bird of inspiration, so it hides from you. Put away your loom. For 1 month, do not even think of weaving. Instead, walk in the forest. Watch the way the light filters through the leaves. Observe the patterns on the bark of the trees, the veins on a single leaf. Listen to the sound of the wind. Let the forest become you. Do not seek patterns for your cloth," he continues, his voice a gentle guide. "Simply be with the patterns of the world. Let them seep into you. When you are so full of the forest that you can no longer separate yourself from it, then, and only then, return to your loom. Do not try to weave the forest. Simply allow the forest to weave itself through your hands." The young weaver's eyes, which had been clouded with despair, now hold a glimmer of hope, a dawning understanding. She looks from the simple, beautiful bowl to the Roshi's serene face, and a slow smile spreads across her lips. She bows deeply, a silent gesture of profound gratitude. She does not speak, but you know that she has received a teaching far more valuable than any new pattern or technique. She has been given the key to the source of all creation, the quiet, empty, and infinitely fertile ground of her own being. As she leaves the monastery, her steps are lighter, her posture more open. You have a feeling that the village will soon see the most beautiful, vibrant weavings it has ever known, cloths that do not just depict nature, but embody its very spirit. Your own heart feels lighter, your own breath deeper. The Roshi's lesson has resonated within you, a reminder that true creativity in any endeavor whether it is weaving, painting, or simply living, comes not from striving, but from stillness, not from a full mind, but from an empty one. In the following weeks, a new sense of peace settles over the monastery. The seasons begin to turn, the vibrant green of summer slowly giving way to the fiery reds and golds of autumn. The air grows crisper, and the mountains seem to draw closer, their ancient presence a constant, silent teaching. One crisp morning, a man arrives at the gates. He is a scholar, a man of letters, his face etched with the intensity of a mind that has spent a lifetime wrestling with complex ideas and philosophies. He is surrounded by scrolls and books, his most trusted companions. He has come to challenge Roshi Kageyama, or perhaps to challenge himself. Roshi Kageyama agrees to meet him in the monastery's library, a quiet, sunlit room filled with the scent of old paper and polished wood. The walls are lined with countless scrolls, the accumulated wisdom of generations. You take your place on a cushion in the corner, anticipating a different kind of encounter, a meeting of minds. The scholar, whose name is Kenji, bows respectfully but with an air of intellectual confidence. "Roshi," he begins, his voice sharp and precise, "I have studied all the great sutras. I have read the commentaries of the masters. I have engaged in debates on the nature of reality, the self, and the path to enlightenment. I have filled my mind with knowledge, yet enlightenment itself feels as distant as the moon in the sky. I have come to ask, what is the one essential truth that I am missing? What is the core teaching that will finally unlock the door?" Roshi Kageyama looks at the scholar and then at the towering shelves of books that surround them. A faint, almost imperceptible smile touches his lips. He does not answer Kenji's question. Instead, he picks up a single, unadorned wooden cup from a small table. "You are a man of great learning, Kenji-san," the Roshi says, his voice calm and even. "Your mind is a magnificent storehouse of words and ideas, but it is full. It is like this cup." He picks up a pitcher of water. "If I try to add more water to a cup that is already full, what will happen?" He proceeds to pour water into the cup. The cup immediately overflows, the water spilling onto the table and the floor. The scholar watches, a flicker of annoyance in his eyes at this seemingly childish demonstration. "It spills, of course," Kenji says, a hint of impatience in his tone. "The cup cannot hold what it is not empty enough to receive." "Ano." "Precisely," Roshi Kageyama says, setting down the pitcher. "And so it is with your mind. You have come to me seeking a great truth, another concept to add to your vast collection. But I cannot give you anything, because there is no room in your mind to receive it. If you wish to taste the fresh water of true wisdom, you must first empty your cup." The scholar's face flushes. His pride is stung. "Are you saying my years of study have been worthless, that I should abandon the wisdom of the ancients?" "Not at all," the Roshi replies gently. "The words of the masters are fingers pointing to the moon. They are not the moon itself. You have spent your life studying the fingers. You have become an expert on fingers. You can describe them in exquisite detail, but you have not yet looked at the moon." "Let me tell you a story," the Roshi continues, his tone inviting the scholar to step out of his intellectual fortress and into the open field of direct experience. It is the story of a monk named Ryoten. Ryoten was much like you. He was obsessed with understanding the Dharma, the universal truth. He traveled from monastery to monastery, studying with famous masters, collecting sutras, and memorizing their contents. He could recite long passages, and debate the most subtle points of doctrine. Yet, like you, he felt a deep sense of dissatisfaction. He had the map, but he had not arrived at the destination. One day, he heard of a great master named Tokusan, who was said to have achieved profound enlightenment. Ryotan traveled for months to reach Tokusan's remote monastery. When he arrived, he found Tokusan in the garden, tending his vegetables. Ryotan bowed and immediately began to ask his questions. "Master," he said, "I have studied the Diamond Sutra for 10 years. There is a passage I do not understand. It says, 'The past mind cannot be grasped. The present mind cannot be grasped. The future mind cannot be grasped. What does this mean?'" Tokusan did not answer. He simply continued to pull a weed from the ground. Evening was approaching. "You must be tired and hungry from your journey," Tokusan said. "Come, have some tea and cakes with me." Ryotan was frustrated by the master's refusal to engage in a philosophical discussion, but he was indeed hungry, so he followed Tokusan to his simple hut. Tokusan lit a candle and brought out a small plate of rice cakes. He gestured for Ryotan to have one. As Ryotan reached for a cake, Tokusan suddenly blew out the candle, plunging the room into darkness. Ryotan was startled, his hand frozen in mid-air. In that moment of sudden darkness, in that moment of surprise, Ryotan's mind, which had been racing with questions and concepts, suddenly stopped. There was no past, no future, only the stark, immediate reality of the present moment, the darkness, the scent of the extinguished candle, the shape of the cake he could no longer see. In that profound stillness, he understood. He understood what the sutra meant. The mind, in its constant flow of thoughts, can never be grasped. It is only when the thinking mind stops, even for an instant, that the vast, clear, and ever-present reality can be perceived. Ryotan began to laugh. He bowed deeply to Tokusan in the darkness. "Master," he said, "you have given me the teaching I have sought for so long." The next morning, Ryotan gathered all of his precious scrolls, all the commentaries and sutras he had spent his life collecting, and he set them on fire. He had realized that the truth was not in the words, but in the direct, unmediated experience of reality. Roshi Kageyama falls silent. The only sound in the library is the gentle rustling of leaves outside the window. The scholar, Kenji, is also silent. His face has lost its sharp, intellectual edge. His shoulders are slumped, not in defeat, but in a kind of surrender. He looks at the overflowing cup on the table. He looks at the shelves of books. Then he looks at his own hands. For the first time, perhaps, he is not thinking about what he knows. He is simply present in this room, with the old Roshi, the spilled water, and the silent, waiting wisdom. "Empty your cup, Kenji-san," Roshi Kageyama says again, his voice soft but clear. "The knowledge you have gathered is not a burden unless you cling to it. Let it go, let it all go, and see what remains." Kenji does not ask another question. He simply bows, a long, slow bow, not of a scholar to a teacher, but of a thirsty man to one who has shown him the way to the well. He stays at the monastery, but he does not enter the library again. You see him, in the days that follow, sitting by the koi pond, not reading, not thinking, just watching the fish swim. You see him sweeping the fallen autumn leaves, his movements slow and mindful. He is emptying his cup, one moment at a time. Your own mind feels spacious and clear. The stories of the weaver and the scholar have washed through you, cleansing you of your own clutter. your own attachments to knowing and doing. You feel a deep sense of peace, a quiet joy in the simple act of being. The moon rises, full and bright, over the monastery. Its silvery light floods the courtyard, making the raked sand of the garden glow like a field of snow. The world is hushed, asleep. You find yourself walking towards the zendo, the meditation hall, drawn by the profound silence that emanates from it. Tonight, you do not just sit in the hall, you feel a pull to sit outside, directly under the vast, star-dusted sky. You find a smooth, flat rock near the edge of the bamboo grove and settle onto it. The air is cool on your skin, and the night is alive with the gentle sounds of nature. You close your eyes, but you are not shutting the world out. You are letting it in. You feel the solidness of the rock beneath you, the coolness of the air on your cheeks, the subtle vibration of the earth. You hear the whisper of the wind in the bamboo, the distant hoot of an owl, the rhythmic chirping of a cricket nearby. These sounds are not distractions. They are the heartbeat of the night. Your breath is slow and even, a quiet tide rising and falling. With each inhale, you draw in the cool, clean air of the mountains. With each exhale, you release everything you are holding on to, your thoughts, your worries, your very sense of self. You are dissolving into the night. There is no past, there is no future, there is only this moment, this breath. The boundary between you and the world begins to blur. Are you breathing the night air, or is the night air breathing you? Are you listening to the sounds of the forest, or are you a part of its song? Is less than has own. 5 is greater than. You feel a profound sense of connection to everything. The rock you are sitting on, the bamboo swaying in the breeze, the moon hanging in the sky, the distant stars burning in the void. They are all part of you, and you are part of them. There is no separation. There is only a vast, silent, and deeply peaceful unity. This is the peace you have been seeking. It was not in a story. It was not in a teaching. It was not in a distant monastery. It was here, all along, within you, waiting to be discovered. It is the stillness beneath the surface of your thoughts, the silence that holds all sound, the vast, empty space in which the entire universe unfolds. You do not need to strive for it. You do not need to achieve it. You only need to be still and let it find you. You only need to empty your cup and allow it to be filled with the boundless peace of your own true nature. As you sit in this deep, silent communion with the night, your body becomes completely relaxed. A gentle heaviness spreads through your limbs. A pleasant warmth fills your core. Your mind, empty and clear, is as calm and luminous as the full moon above. You are ready for sleep, a deep, restorative, and profoundly peaceful sleep. You carry the stillness of the mountain night within you as you gently drift away, floating on a quiet river of peace towards the vast ocean of dreams. Let the gentle sounds of the night be your lullaby. Let the soft light of the moon guide you into the deepest realms of slumber. You are safe. You are held. You are at peace. Good night. May your dreams be as clear and beautiful as a moonlit garden, and may you awaken refreshed, renewed, and filled with the quiet joy of a peaceful heart. And as you drift into this peaceful sleep, remember to share your journey with us. Leave a comment to let us know where you are in the world and what time it is for you. Your presence in our global community brings warmth to us all. And if you find solace in these stories, please subscribe to our channel, It helps us to continue sharing these paths to tranquility with everyone. Thank you for being here. Sleep well. The days continue to flow with the gentle, unhurried rhythm of the monastery. The vibrant colors of autumn have now given way to the stark, quiet beauty of late fall. The trees have shed their leaves, revealing their strong, silent forms against the crisp blue sky. The air is tinged with the coming cold of winter, and a sense of deep stillness has settled over the mountains. One afternoon, a new visitor arrives. He is a musician, a master of the shakuhachi, the traditional bamboo flute. His name is Haruki, and his fame is widespread. It is said that his music can make flowers bloom out of season and bring tears to the eyes of hardened warriors. Yet, as he stands at the monastery gate, his elegant robes seem to hang on a frame of profound sadness. The flute he carries, usually an extension of his very soul, is held loosely in his hand, as if it were a stranger. He has come, like so many others, seeking the wisdom of Roshi Kageyama. He is led to the Roshi's quarters, a simple room with paper screens that look out onto a small, enclosed garden, where a single, resilient maple tree still clings to a few crimson leaves. Haruki bows low, his movements filled with a grace that has been honed by years of disciplined practice. "Roshi," he says, and his voice is as melodic as his flute, but laced with a deep and abiding sorrow. "I have lost my music. I play the notes, the same notes that once brought joy and solace to thousands, but there is no life in them. The sound is hollow, an empty echo of what it once was. My heart is a silent chamber. I have come to ask you, how can I find my sound again?" Roshi Kageyama looks at the musician with deep compassion. He does not offer words of comfort or philosophical advice. Instead, he gestures to the flute in Haruki's hand. "Your shakuhachi," the Roshi says, his voice quiet and clear. "It is made of bamboo, is it not?" "Yes, Roshi," Haruki replies, a little surprised by the simple question. "The finest bamboo, carefully selected from a mountain grove, dried for years, and painstakingly bored and tuned." "Before it was a flute," the Roshi continues, "it was a living plant. It stood in the wind, it bent in the rain, it reached for the Sunday. It was empty inside, a hollow tube, and so the wind could pass through it and make its own music. The bamboo did not try to sing, it simply allowed itself to be a vessel for the wind's song." "You, Haruki-san, have become too full," the Roshi says, his gaze gentle but direct. "You are full of your fame, full of your technique, full of your memory of how the music used to sound. You are full of the desire to create beauty, and so beauty cannot flow through you. You are no longer a hollow bamboo. You are trying to sing, instead of letting the great wind sing through you." The musician's eyes fill with tears, not of sadness, but of recognition. The Roshi's simple words have touched the very core of his being, the source of his blockage. "Let me tell you a story of the first shakuhachi master," the Roshi says, settling back on his cushion. "His name was Fuke, and he was a Zen monk of the Tang dynasty. He did not think of himself as a musician. He played his flute, not for an audience, but as a form of meditation, a way of breathing with the universe." Fuke wandered the countryside, a strange and unpredictable figure. He would play a single, piercing note in the middle of a crowded marketplace, a note so pure and true that it would stop everyone in their tracks. They would look around, startled, as if they had just been awakened from a long dream. He was not playing a melody, He was not trying to entertain. He was transmitting a moment of pure presence. The sound he made was the sound of the universe itself, breathing through his flute. It was the sound of what is. One day, another monk asked Fuke, "What is the essence of your teaching?" Fuke did not speak. He simply lifted his flute to his lips and played one note. The note hung in the air, vast and empty, yet containing everything. In that one sound, the monk understood. The essence of Zen is not something that can be spoken or written. It can only be experienced directly in the here and now. Fuke's music was powerful because he was empty. He had no desire for fame, no attachment to his skill, no idea of a self that was playing the flute. There was only the breath, the bamboo, and the sound. The three were one. Roshi Kageyama picks up a fallen maple leaf from the tatami mat. It is a brilliant, fiery red, a last blaze of glory before the onset of winter. This leaf does not mourn the passing of summer, he says. It does not cling to the branch. It offers its beauty freely, and then it lets go, dancing on the wind, returning to the earth. It is beautiful because it is in harmony with the flow of life and death. You, Haruki-san, are clinging to the summer of your music, the Roshi continues. You are afraid of the silence, the emptiness, the winter of your creative life. But it is only in this winter that the roots can grow deep again. It is only in this silence that a new sound can be born. Put away your flute, the Roshi advises, his voice a gentle command. Do not touch it for 3 months. Forget that you are a musician. Become a beginner again. Go and work in the kitchens. Wash the rice. Chop the vegetables. Listen to the sound of the water boiling in the pot. Listen to the sound of the knife on the cutting board. Find the music in the most ordinary of tasks. Walk in the bare forests. Listen to the sound of the wind in the empty branches. Listen to the sound of your own footsteps on the frozen ground. Listen to the silence between the sounds. Do not seek music. Simply listen, become an empty vessel, and let the world fill you with its own subtle music. Haruki looks at his beautiful flute, the instrument that has been his constant companion, his identity for his entire adult life. The thought of setting it aside is terrifying, like a death, but he also feels a profound sense of release, of possibility. He understands that the path to his music is through silence. The path to fullness is through emptiness. He places his shakuhachi on the floor before the Roshi and bows deeply. "I will do as you say, master," he says, his voice thick with emotion. "I will become a beginner." And so, the great musician Haruki disappears. In his place is a simple monk who spends his days in the monastery kitchen. He washes bowls, his hands immersed in the cold water. He scrubs the wooden floors. He carries firewood. He does not speak much. He only listens. At first, his mind is a storm of frustration and impatience. The desire to play, to create, to be Haruki the musician again, is a constant torment. But as the days turn into weeks, a change begins to occur. He starts to hear things he never heard before. He hears the gentle hiss of the rice steaming, the rhythmic scrape of a brush on a pot, the quiet sigh of the wind under the eaves. These simple, ordinary sounds begin to feel more profound, more real than any of the complex melodies he ever played. He discovers a world of music in the everyday, a symphony of the mundane. His mind grows quiet. His heart begins to open. One evening, 3 months have passed. He is walking back from the well, carrying 2 heavy buckets of water. The winter moon is high in the sky, and the monastery is bathed in its cold, clear light. He stops, and looks up at the moon. In that moment, a profound silence descends upon him. He is not Haruki. He is not a monk. He is not a man carrying water. He is just here, a part of the silent, moonlit world. From deep within him, a sound arises. It is not a melody he has learned. It is a sound he has never heard before. It is the sound of the moonlight, the sound of the cold stone, the sound of the deep silence of his own heart. It is a single, pure note. He does not need his flute. The music is flowing through him. He has become the hollow bamboo. The next day, he goes to Roshi Kageyama. He does not speak. He simply bows. The Roshi smiles and hands him back his shakuhachi. Haruki takes it, and it feels new in his hands, a sacred object. He lifts it to his lips, and he begins to play. The sound that emerges is unlike anything you have ever heard. It is more than music. It is the sound of life itself. It speaks of the wind and the rain, of the joy of the budding leaf and the sorrow of the falling blossom. It is the sound of emptiness, and in that emptiness, it contains everything. It is the sound of a heart that has been broken open and has found its true, boundless nature. The music flows through the monastery, a river of pure sound. It washes over you, cleansing your mind, soothing your spirit. It speaks to a place deep within you that is beyond words, a place of profound peace and quiet joy. You feel all the tension in your body release. Your muscles soften, your breath deepens. You are floating on this river of sound, carried gently towards the ocean of sleep. The stories of the weaver, the scholar, and the musician have all led to this moment, this profound experience of letting go. Letting go of the need to create, letting go of the need to know, letting go of the need to perform, letting go of the self that tries so hard, and resting in the vast, effortless flow of being. The last note of the shakuhachi hangs in the air, a perfect, shimmering drop of silence, before it dissolves back into the stillness from which it came. And in that stillness, you find your own perfect peace. Your body is heavy, your mind is quiet. You are drifting, drifting, drifting into a deep and dreamless sleep. The wisdom of the monastery is now a part of you. The peace of the masters is your own peace. You are home. Sleep now. Sleep deeply. Let the silence be your blanket, and the darkness be your cradle. You are held in the loving arms of the universe, safe and sound, until the morning light calls you to awaken, refreshed and renewed. As you rest in this tranquil space, we invite you to share this peace with our community. A simple comment with your location and time connects us all in this shared moment of calm. Please consider subscribing to continue these journeys with us. Your support allows these stories to reach all who need them. Thank you for your presence. May your rest be deep and your dreams be sweet. Winter has now fully descended upon the monastery. The world is painted in shades of white and grey. A thick blanket of snow covers the ground, muffling all sound and creating an atmosphere of profound silence and introspection. The branches of the trees are heavy with snow, and icicles hang like crystal daggers from the eaves of the temple roofs. The monks move with a quiet, deliberate energy. Their dark robes a stark contrast to the white landscape. One morning, a figure is seen making his way slowly up the mountain path. He is a samurai, but not a young, questioning one like the one you saw before. This is an older warrior, a general, his face a roadmap of countless battles and heavy responsibilities. His name is General Kenjiro, a man who has known great power and victory but who now carries a burden that even his immense strength cannot seem to support. He does not come with the arrogance of a challenger or the desperation of a seeker. He comes with a deep, quiet weariness, as if the weight of his armor is not on his body, but on his soul. He seeks an audience with Roshi Kageyama, not to learn a new technique or a philosophy, but to find a way to lay down his burden. Roshi Kageyama receives him by a simple hearth in a small, private room. A charcoal fire glows in the sunken pit, casting a warm, flickering light on the walls. The only sound is the crackle of the burning wood and the sigh of the wind outside. General Kenjiro removes his helmet, a symbol of his station and his life's work, and places it on the floor beside him. He bows, not as a general, but as a man. "Roshi," he says, his voice low and gravelly, like stones grinding together. "I have spent my life in service to my Lord. I have fought and won many battles. I have brought peace and stability to our province. But the cost has been great. My mind is a battlefield of ghosts. The faces of men I have slain, the memory of difficult decisions, the constant weight of command. They give me no rest. I have achieved everything a warrior could hope to achieve, yet I have no peace. How can a man of war find peace?" Roshi Kageyama looks at the general with eyes that hold no judgment, only a vast, compassionate understanding. He pokes the fire with a small iron rod, sending a shower of sparks up the chimney. "A general's mind is always on strategy," the Roshi says calmly. "You are always planning the next move, anticipating the enemy's action, defending against attack. You have been so successful in the world because you have a mind that is always active, always vigilant. But now, you wish for that mind to be still," the Roshi continues. "You are trying to use the strategies of war to find peace. You are trying to defeat your thoughts, to conquer your memories, to force your mind into submission. But the mind cannot be conquered by the methods of war. The harder you fight, the more you stir up the very ghosts you wish to lay to rest." "Let me tell you a story of another warrior," the Roshi says, his gaze fixed on the glowing embers. "He was a great samurai named Nobushige. Like you, he was a man of great skill and accomplishment, but he was troubled by the same demons that haunt you." Nobushige went to a Zen master and said, "Master, I am tormented by my thoughts. When I try to meditate, my mind is filled with images of battle. I cannot find a moment of peace." The master said to him, "Tonight, when you sit in meditation, do not fight your thoughts. Instead, welcome them. When a thought of battle arises, see it clearly, acknowledge it, and then imagine that you are opening a great gate at the back of your mind. Let the thought pass through the gate and disappear over the horizon. Do not cling to it. Do not push it away. Simply open the gate and let it go." Nobushige was skeptical, but he was desperate, so he agreed to try. That night, he sat in zazen. As expected, his mind was soon flooded with thoughts. He saw the face of an enemy he had killed. Instead of flinching and trying to push the image away, he looked at it. He acknowledged the memory, the flicker of fear, the pang of regret. Then he imagined the great gate, and he watched as the image of the enemy passed through it and vanished. Another thought arose, a memory of a difficult command, a choice that led to the death of some of his own men. The guilt was immense. Again, he did not fight it. He allowed the feeling of guilt to be there. He observed it without judgment, and then he opened the gate and let the thought and the feeling attached to it pass through. He did this all night, thought after thought, memory after memory, ghost after ghost. He did not fight. He simply opened the gate, again and again and again. He became a gatekeeper of his own mind, allowing everything to arise and everything to pass away. As dawn approached, something remarkable happened. The stream of thoughts began to slow. The ghosts became fewer, their forms less distinct, and in the spaces between the thoughts, he discovered something he had never known before, a profound stillness, a silence that was not empty but full, a peace that was not the absence of conflict, but the ability to be with conflict without being consumed by it. He realized that his mind was not a fortress to be defended, but an open field through which all things pass. He was not the thoughts. He was the awareness that observed the thoughts. He was the open sky, and the thoughts were just clouds passing by. Roshi Kageyama falls silent, letting the story settle in the warm, quiet room. General Kenjiro is staring into the fire, his weathered face unreadable, but you can see a subtle softening in the hard lines around his eyes and mouth. "You have spent your life closing gates, General," the Roshi says softly, "building walls, defending your position. That is the way of the warrior, but the way of peace is the opposite. It is the way of opening gates, of letting go, of non-resistance. The ghosts that haunt you," the Roshi continues, "they are not your enemies. They are parts of your own experience that you have not yet allowed to pass through. They are seeking release. When you fight them, you give them strength. When you open the gate, you set both them and yourself free." The general does not speak for a long time. The only sound is the crackling of the fire. Then, he slowly reaches down and picks up his helmet. He looks at it, not as a symbol of his power, but as a representation of the heavy fortress he has built around his mind. He places the helmet back on the floor, but this time, he turns it upside down, like an empty bowl. It is a small gesture, but it is filled with a profound meaning. He is ready to empty his cup. He is ready to open the gate. He bows to the Roshi, a deep, humble bow of a student to a master. "I have been a warrior of the sword my whole life," he says, his voice thick with a new kind of emotion. "Perhaps it is time to learn to be a warrior of the open gate." General Kenjiro stays at the monastery through the deepest part of the winter. He does not wear his armor. He wears the simple robes of a lay practitioner. He spends many hours a day in the zendo, sitting in silent meditation. He is not fighting. He is not striving. He is simply sitting, watching, and opening the gate. You see him sometimes, walking slowly through the snow-covered garden. His face, once so hard and guarded, has softened. The deep weariness in his eyes has been replaced by a quiet, clear light. He has not forgotten his past, but it no longer owns him. He has found a peace that is not dependent on external conditions, a peace that can coexist with the memory of war. The story of the general touches you deeply. It speaks to the warrior within all of us, the part that struggles and fights and tries to control. It teaches you the wisdom of surrender, the strength in letting go, the profound peace that comes from opening the gates of your own heart and mind. As the winter snows begin to melt, and the first signs of spring appear, a brave green shoot pushing its way through the cold earth, the tentative song of a returning bird, you feel a sense of renewal within yourself. The stories you have witnessed, the lessons you have absorbed, have worked their gentle magic on you. You have learned from the samurai that true courage is not the absence of fear, but the awareness that holds fear. You have learned from the tea master that true perfection is found not in the result, but in the mindful presence of the process. You have learned from the weaver that true creativity arises not from a full mind, but from an empty one. You have learned from the scholar that true wisdom is not in knowing, but in unknowing. You have learned from the musician that the most beautiful sound comes from a hollow bamboo, and you have learned from the general that true peace is found not in fighting, but in letting go. All these lessons have woven themselves into the fabric of your being. You feel a deep sense of calm, a quiet joy, a profound connection to the world around you. You are ready to carry this peace with you, back into your own life, your own world. Your time at the monastery is drawing to a close, but you know that the monastery is not a place you are leaving behind. It is a place you will carry within you. Its silence, its beauty, its wisdom are now part of your inner landscape. You walk one last time through the garden. The cherry tree that was once heavy with blossoms is now covered in tight, promising buds. The koi pond, which was still and frozen in winter, is now alive with the gentle movement of the fish. The world is awakening, and you feel yourself awakening with it. You are filled with a deep sense of gratitude. Gratitude for the journey, for the teachings, for the masters, and for the profound, simple peace you have discovered. It is a peace that does not need to be protected, a joy that does not depend on circumstances, a wisdom that is as natural as breathing. As you lie down to sleep on this final night, you are enveloped in a profound sense of well-being. Your body is completely relaxed. Your mind is clear and serene. You are like the sky after a storm, washed clean and filled with a soft, gentle light. Let yourself drift now on the quiet river of your breath into the deep, healing ocean of sleep. Carry the peace of the monastery with you into your dreams. Let it be a sanctuary you can return to again and again. May your sleep be deep and untroubled. May you awaken in the morning feeling refreshed, renewed, and ready to meet the world with an open heart and a peaceful mind. Thank you for sharing this journey with us. Your presence is a gift. If these stories have brought you a measure of peace, please let us know in the comments, and please subscribe to our channel to continue exploring the timeless paths to inner wisdom. Your support helps us to share this work with all who may need it. Good night, sleep well, and may your life be filled with the quiet joy of a peaceful heart. Spring arrives at the monastery in a soft wave of color and life. The snow has retreated to the highest peaks, and the mountains are once again cloaked in a vibrant green. The cherry trees have exploded into a riot of pink and white blossoms, and their petals drift like fragrant snow on every breeze. The air is filled with the cheerful sound of birdsong and the busy hum of insects. With the arrival of spring, a new energy flows through the monastery. The monks are busy in the fields, planting the rice that will sustain them through the coming year. The gardens are being tended with loving care, ready for a new season of growth. It is a time of renewal, of new beginnings. One day, a young woman named Hannah arrives. She is not a warrior or a scholar or a famous artist. She is a simple gardener from a nearby village. Her hands are rough and stained with earth, and her face is open and honest, tanned by the Sunday. She has not come with a great problem or a deep existential question. She has come with a quiet sense of wonder. She asks to speak with Roshi Kageyama, and he meets her not in a formal room, but in the monastery's main vegetable garden. The Roshi himself is tending to a row of young daikon radishes, his movements slow and mindful, his robes tucked up to keep them from the rich, dark soil. Hana bows, her eyes shining with a clear, bright light. "Roshi," she says, her voice as fresh as a spring morning. "I have a question. I am a gardener. I spend my days with the earth, with the seeds, with the plants. I see the miracle of life every day. I see a tiny, dry seed become a vibrant, living plant that gives us food. I see the cycle of growth, decay, and rebirth. And in my heart, I feel a deep sense of connection to it all. I feel a profound peace when I am in my garden. My question is this feeling the same as the enlightenment you speak of? Is the wisdom of the earth the same as the wisdom of Zen?" Roshi Kageyama smiles, a warm, genuine smile that crinkles the corners of his eyes. He straightens up and looks at the young gardener, and in his eyes, she sees a reflection of her own love for the earth. "You have asked a beautiful question, Hana-san," he says. "You have not come with a mind full of problems, but with a heart full of wonder. That is the best way to approach the truth." He gestures to the garden around them, to the neat rows of vegetables, the buzzing bees, the rich soil. Many people come here seeking enlightenment as if it were a treasure hidden in a secret cave, he says. They read books, they practice difficult techniques, they travel to distant lands, but they overlook the greatest teacher of all, the one that is always with us, the earth. You, who spend your days with the earth, have already learned the most profound lessons of Zen without ever stepping into a zendo. The Roshi continues. Let me tell you a story to show you that your wisdom and the wisdom of the masters are one and the same. There was a great Zen master named Hyakujo. He was the one who first established a formal set of rules for Zen monasteries. And one of his most famous rules was this: a day of no work is a day of no eating. Hyakujo believed that spiritual practice and everyday work were not separate things. Tending the garden, chopping wood, cooking rice, these were all forms of meditation. Hyakujo himself, even in his old age, worked in the gardens every day alongside the youngest monks. His students worried about his health and decided to hide his tools, hoping he would rest. That day, Hyakujo refused to eat. He searched for his tools, and when he could not find them, he sat in his room and fasted. A day of no work is a day of no eating, he repeated. His students, moved by his deep commitment, returned his tools, and the old master, well into his 90s, continued to work in the garden until the very end of his life. For Hyakujo, the Roshi explains, working the earth was not a chore. It was his joy, his practice, his way of being one with the universe. In the soil, he saw the cycle of life and death. In the pulling of a single weed, he saw the importance of removing the hindrances in his own mind. In the watering of a thirsty plant, he saw the nature of compassion. In the harvest, he saw the fruits of patient, diligent effort. Hana listens, her heart swelling with a sense of validation and joy. The Roshi is putting words to the feelings she has had for so long in her own garden. You asked if the wisdom of the earth is the wisdom of Zen, the Roshi says, picking up a handful of dark, rich soil. He lets it run through his fingers. Look at this soil. It is humble. It is patient. It receives everything we give it, the seed, the water, the decaying leaves, and transforms it all into new life. It does not judge. It does not demand. It simply gives, endlessly. Is this not the nature of a compassionate heart? Look at this tiny seed, he says, pointing to a seed that has fallen on the path. Within it, a whole plant is sleeping. It holds the blueprint for leaves, stems, roots, and fruit. It does not strive or worry. It simply waits for the right conditions, the warmth, the water, the soil, and then it fulfills its own true nature, effortlessly. Is this not the nature of our own Buddha nature, the seed of enlightenment that lies dormant within each of us, waiting for the right conditions to awaken? Look at the weeds, the Roshi continues, gesturing to a small, stubborn weed he has just pulled. We call them weeds because they grow where we do not want them, but in themselves, they are not bad. They are simply life, expressing itself with great vigor. They teach us that our own negative thoughts and feelings are also just life energy. We do not need to hate them or fight them. We simply need to gently remove them from the garden of our mind so that the plants we wish to cultivate have room to grow. And look at the harvest, he says, pointing to a row of plump, ready-to-eat lettuces. The earth gives its bounty freely. It does not hold back. It teaches us the lesson of generosity, of non-attachment. The plant gives its fruit, the fruit gives its seeds, and the cycle continues. The universe is a constant flow of giving and receiving. To be in harmony with this flow is to be in harmony with Zen. Hana's eyes are shining. So, I do not need to sit in silent meditation for hours. My gardening is my zazen? Your gardening is the most wonderful zazen, the Roshi affirms with a warm smile. When you are pulling a weed, just pull the weed. When you are watering a plant, just water the plant. When your hands are in the soil, be fully present with the feeling of the earth. Do not let your mind wander to the past or the future. Be as present, as patient, and as humble as the garden itself. If you do this, your garden will not only produce vegetables, it will produce enlightenment. There is no separation between the sacred and the mundane, Hana-san, the Roshi concludes. Enlightenment is not found in a special place or a special state of mind. It is found in the heart of our everyday activities, when we perform them with total presence, attention, and a loving heart. You have found this in your garden. Cherish it. It is the greatest treasure. Hana bows deeply, her heart overflowing with gratitude. She has not been given a new teaching, but has had her own deepest wisdom affirmed. She sees that her simple, earthy life is as profound a spiritual path as that of any monk or master. She leaves the monastery with a new spring in her step, eager to return to her own sacred space, her own zendo, her garden. You watch her go, and you feel a deep sense of peace. The Roshi's words have resonated with you as well. They have shown you that you don't need to be in a monastery to practice Zen. You can find it in your own kitchen, your own office, your own garden. The lesson of the gardener is the lesson of immanence, the discovery of the sacred in the ordinary. It is a lesson that grounds you, that connects you to the earth and to the simple, profound realities of life. It reminds you that your own life, just as it is the perfect field for the cultivation of wisdom and peace. As the day draws to a close, you feel a deep sense of contentment. The air is soft and fragrant, with the scent of blossoms and damp earth. You lie down to sleep, and your body feels rooted, connected, and secure. You are a part of the earth, and the earth is a part of you. Let your breath be like the gentle spring rain, nourishing the garden of your being. Let your mind be as clear and open as the spring sky. Let your heart be as generous and life-giving as the soil. Drift into sleep now, into the deep, quiet earth of your own consciousness. Rest in the knowledge that you are whole, you are complete, and you are home, right where you are. May your sleep be as peaceful and restorative as a night in a beautiful garden, and may you awaken with the sun, ready to greet the new day with a fresh and open heart. We are so grateful to share this peaceful time with you. If you feel moved, please leave a comment and let us know where you are joining us from. Subscribing to our channel is a wonderful way to support our work and to ensure you don't miss future journeys into peace. Thank you for being a part of our community. Sleep peacefully. Summer arrives in full glory, draping the mountains in a thick, lush green. The days are long and warm, filled with the drowsy hum of cicadas and the scent of wild flowers. The rice paddies, which were freshly planted in spring, are now a vibrant, waving sea of green. It is a time of fullness, of abundant life, of quiet, steady growth. One humid afternoon, a woman arrives at the monastery. She is not young. Her face is lined with the joys and sorrows of a long life, and her back is slightly bent, not from infirmity, but from a lifetime of carrying children and burdens. She is a mother and a grandmother. Her name is Chio, and she has come from the nearby village. She does not ask for a private audience with the Roshi. She simply joins him where he is sitting on the veranda of the main hall, looking out at the mountains. She bows and sits near him, fanning herself with a small paper fan. For a long time, they sit in a comfortable silence, a silence that can only exist between two people who are at ease with the world and with themselves. Finally, she speaks, her voice gentle and warm, like the summer air. "Roshi," she says, "I am not here with a problem. My children are grown and have children of their own. My husband is old and kind. My life is full. But as I grow older, I find myself thinking more and more about love. I have loved my husband, my children, my grandchildren, with all my heart. But my love has always been a worried love, a clinging love. I worry when they are sick. I am anxious when they are away. My heart breaks when they are sad. Now, in the autumn of my life, I want to learn to love with a peaceful heart. I want to love like the sun, which shines on everything without preference and without asking for anything in return. Is such a love possible for an ordinary person?" Roshi Kageyama turns to her, his eyes filled with a deep and tender respect. "Chio-san," he says, "you speak of the highest practice, the practice of unconditional love, of great compassion. You have practiced it your whole life without knowing it, but now you wish to practice it with wisdom. This is a beautiful and noble aspiration. You say your love has been a worried, clinging love," he continues. "That is the nature of ordinary human love. It is mixed with attachment, with the fear of loss, with the idea of a separate self that loves another separate self. It is like the light of a lantern, which can illuminate a small room, but which also casts shadows and is easily extinguished. The love you speak of, the love of the sun, is the love of a Buddha. It is not an emotion that comes and goes. It is the very nature of reality. It arises from the understanding that there is no separation, that you and your children, and the mountains, and the sky, and I, are all expressions of one single, boundless life. This love does not cling, because it knows that nothing can ever be lost. It does not worry, because it knows that all beings have their own path to walk. It simply gives its warmth, its light, freely and without condition. Let me tell you a story, the Roshi says, his voice becoming soft and distant, like a memory. It is a story about Kanon, the bodhisattva of compassion, who is often depicted as a female figure, a mother to all beings. It is said that Kannon made a great vow. She vowed that she would not rest until all sentient beings were freed from suffering. She worked for eons, traveling through all the realms of existence, helping, guiding, and liberating countless beings. But one day, she looked back and she saw that for every being she saved, a new one was born into suffering. The ocean of suffering was as vast as ever. In a moment of profound despair, her heart broke, her head shattered into 1,000 pieces. She felt that her vow was impossible, that her efforts were futile. But at that moment, the Buddha of infinite light, Amida, appeared before her. He gathered up the 1,000 shattered pieces of her head and transformed them into 1,000 new heads, each with a face that could look in all directions at once. He gave her 1,000 arms, and in the palm of each hand, an eye, so that she could see all the suffering of the world and have the means to help all beings simultaneously. In that moment, Kannon's understanding of compassion deepened. She realized that her despair came from a subtle form of attachment, the attachment to a result, the desire to succeed in saving all beings. She understood that true compassion is not about fixing the world. It is about being a boundless, unwavering presence of love in the midst of the world, just as it is. Her new form, with 1,000 heads and 1,000 arms, symbolizes this new understanding. Her love is no longer a linear, one-at-a-time love. It is a radiant, all-encompassing love. She does not burn out, because her love is not her own personal possession. It is the love of the universe itself, flowing through her. She is simply a vessel for it. The old woman, Chio, listens with her whole being. Her fanning has stopped. Her hands rest quietly in her lap. She is looking at the mountains, but she is seeing something else. You, Chio-san, the Roshi says, bringing the story back to her. You have been a mother with 2 arms. You have held your children. You have cooked for them. You have worked for them. Your love has been beautiful and powerful. But now, you can learn to be a mother with 1,000 arms. You can learn to love not just your own family, but all beings. You can learn to love without needing to fix or change anything. How? Chio asks, her voice a whisper. How do I do that? By starting with yourself, the Roshi replies. Turn the light of your love inward. Give yourself the same unconditional love you have given to your children. Forgive yourself for your worries and your clinging. See that you, too, are a precious, sacred being, worthy of all the love in the universe. Then, when you sit, practice this simple meditation. Breathe in, and as you breathe in, imagine you are breathing in all the suffering of a person you love. Their pain, their fear, their sorrow. Take it all into your heart. Do not be afraid. Your heart is bigger than you think. It is as vast as the sky. Then, as you breathe out, imagine you are breathing out pure, healing light. Breathe out peace and strength and joy and freedom. Send it to that person. Surround them with your boundless, unconditional love. Practice this first with your loved ones, the Roshi instructs. Then, gradually, extend the circle. Practice it with your neighbors. Practice it with the people in your village you don't know. Then, practice it with people you find difficult, people who have hurt you. Breathe in their suffering and breathe out your love. This is the practice of Tonglen, the practice of giving and taking. It is the practice that transforms the poison of attachment and aversion into the nectar of compassion. Finally, the Roshi says, his voice becoming very soft, practice it for all beings, all humans, all animals, all ghosts, all gods, all beings in all realms. Breathe in all the suffering of the entire universe and breathe out your infinite, boundless love. In this practice, your small, personal self dissolves. Your heart merges with the heart of Canon. You become a mother to the world. Chiyo is silent for a long, long time. Tears are streaming down her wrinkled cheeks, but they are not tears of sadness. They are tears of a profound and joyful release. She has been given a way to transform her worried, anxious love into a force for healing, for herself and for the world. She bows to the Roshi, her heart so full that she cannot speak. He simply smiles and bows in return. The lesson is complete. In the days that follow, you sometimes see Chiyo sitting on the veranda or under a tree in the garden. She is not just resting, she is practicing. Her eyes are closed, her hands are in her lap, and her face is serene. She is breathing in the suffering of the world and breathing out her boundless, motherly love. She is becoming Canon. The lesson of the mother is the final, and perhaps the most profound, lesson of your stay at the monastery. It is the lesson that brings all the others together. The courage of the samurai, the presence of the tea master, the emptiness of the weaver, the letting go of the scholar, the listening of the musician, the earth wisdom of the gardener. All these are the foundation for the ultimate practice, the practice of great compassion. It is the understanding that peace is not just for oneself, it is a gift to be shared. It is the realization that the deepest joy comes not from getting, but from giving, not from being loved, but from loving. As you prepare to leave the monastery, you know that your journey is not ending. It is just beginning. You have been given a map, a set of tools, and a compass. The compass is your own heart, which now knows the direction of true north, the direction of boundless, unconditional love. You lie down for your final night's sleep in this sacred place. The summer air is warm and soft, like a mother's embrace. The sound of the cicadas is a mantra, a prayer for all beings. You feel a profound sense of gratitude for everything, for everyone, for the entire, beautiful, suffering, and miraculous world. Let your heart be open and soft. Let your breath be a vehicle of compassion. Breathe in and accept the world in all its imperfection. Breathe out and send it your love, your peace, your healing light. Drift into sleep on the gentle, powerful river of this love. Let it carry you through the night and into the dawn of a new day, a new life, a new way of being. May your sleep be a practice of love. May your dreams be filled with the light of compassion. And may you awaken with a heart that is ready to embrace the world with the love of 1,000 mothers. Thank you for being with us on this journey. Your presence makes our circle complete. Please share your thoughts with us in the comments and subscribe to our channel to continue our practice together. Your support is a gift that we cherish. Good night. May you be happy. May you be peaceful. May you be free from suffering. The seasons have turned once more. The vibrant fullness of summer has softened into the gentle, golden light of early autumn. A few leaves are beginning to turn, and the air has a new crispness to it, a hint of the quiet that is to come. The monastery seems to be bathed in a particularly serene and mellow glow. One sunny afternoon, a small child, no more than 6 or 7 years old, wanders into the monastery courtyard. He is not a visitor or a seeker. He is the son of a farmer from the valley below, and he has followed a bright yellow butterfly up the mountain path. He is not looking for wisdom or peace. He is simply following his own innocent curiosity. He sees Roshi Kageyama sitting on the veranda, and with the complete fearlessness of a small child, he walks right up to him. "Old man," he says, his voice bright and clear as a little bell. "What are you doing?" Roshi Kageyama looks down at the boy, and his face breaks into a delighted smile. He sees no disrespect in the boy's words, only pure, unfiltered presence. "I am watching the world," the Roshi replies, his voice gentle, so as not to startle the boy. The boy looks around. He sees the courtyard, the trees, the sky. "Why?" he asks. It is the quintessential question of a child. "Because it is beautiful," the Roshi says simply. The boy considers this. He looks at a line of ants marching diligently across a stone. He looks at a cloud that looks like a great white dragon. He looks at a single red leaf that has fallen onto the dark wood of the veranda. "Yes," he says, after a moment of serious consideration. "It is." He then plops himself down on the veranda next to the old master, his small dusty feet sticking straight out. He, too, begins to watch the world. They sit there together for a long time, the ancient Roshi and the little boy, in a perfect, companionable silence. They are not meditating. They are not practicing. They are simply being present, together, in the beauty of the afternoon. A young monk, who has been watching from a distance, is scandalized by the boy's lack of decorum. He rushes over, intending to shoo the child away. "Roshi, forgive this intrusion," he says, bowing stiffly. "This boy is disturbing your meditation." Roshi Kageyama holds up a hand, stopping the monk. "He is not disturbing me," the Roshi says, his eyes twinkling. "He is my teacher." The young monk is stunned into silence. The Roshi, a Zen master renowned throughout the land, calling a dirty little farm boy his teacher. "Look at him," the Roshi says softly, so as not to disturb the boy, who is now completely absorbed in watching a spider spin its web. He is not thinking about yesterday. He is not worrying about tomorrow. He is not trying to become enlightened. He is not comparing himself to others. He is completely here, now, in this moment. He is a perfect master of Zen, and he doesn't even know it. "We adults," the Roshi continues, his voice now a lesson for the young monk. "We have to unlearn so much. We have to empty our cups, open our gates, and practice for years to get back to the simple, direct, and joyful presence that this child has naturally. He has not yet learned to build the walls that we spend our lives trying to dismantle." "Let me tell you a final story," the Roshi says, his gaze including both the monk and the child, though the child is not listening, lost in the world of the spider. It is a story about the great master Hakuin. Hakuin is famous for his rigorous teaching and his powerful art, but it is said that in his old age, he was often seen playing with the children of his village. He would make funny faces, tell them silly stories, and join in their games. Some of his more serious students were perplexed. They thought a great Zen master should be more dignified. One of them finally got up the courage to ask him about it. "Master," he said, "why do you spend so much time playing with children? Is this a proper activity for a patriarch of Zen?" Hakuin laughed, a great booming laugh that shook his whole body. "You think my sermons in the Dharma hall are my real teaching," he said. "You are mistaken. My real teaching is when I am playing with these children. They teach me how to be simple again. They teach me how to laugh from my belly. They teach me how to see the world as if for the first time, every single day. Hakuin understood, the Roshi explains, that the ultimate goal of all our practice is not to become some stern, superhuman saint. It is to become a child again, to regain the beginner's mind that is open, curious, and full of wonder. It is to be able to live with the same direct, uncomplicated, and joyful engagement with life. The young monk looks at the little boy, who is now gently touching the edge of the spider's web with a blade of grass, his face a mask of pure concentration and wonder. The monk begins to understand. He sees that all the rules, all the rituals, all the long hours of zazen are just tools to help them scrape away the layers of dust and grime that have accumulated on the clear mirror of their original mind, the mind they all had as a child. The butterfly that the boy was following now flutters by again. The boy's attention immediately shifts. He jumps up, laughs with pure delight, and runs off after the butterfly, his small feet pattering on the stone path. He does not say goodbye. He does not thank the Roshi. He is simply on to the next moment, the next adventure, with no residue of the past. Roshi Kageyama watches him go, a look of profound love and tenderness on his face. "Go well, my little teacher," he whispers. This final, simple encounter is perhaps the most profound lesson of all. It is the lesson of the child's mind. It is the realization that enlightenment is not something to be attained in the future. It is our original, natural state. It is the simple, joyful, and fully present awareness that is our birthright. All the stories you have heard of the samurai, the tea master, the weaver, the scholar, the musician, the general, the gardener, and the mother have been pointing to this. They have all been different ways of describing the journey back home, back to the simplicity and wonder of the child's mind. To be as courageous and unself-conscious as a child, to be as absorbed in the process as a child playing with mud, to be as open to new ideas as a child who has not yet learned what is impossible, to be as willing to let go of the past as a child who runs after a new butterfly. As you lie down to sleep, you feel a great sense of lightness and freedom. The weight of all your striving, all your seeking, has fallen away. You don't need to become anything. You only need to remember who you already are. Let yourself be a child again, drifting off to sleep without a care in the world. Your body is safe. Your mind is free. The universe is your playground, and your heart is full of a simple, uncomplicated joy. Let your breath be as soft and natural as a sleeping child's. Let your dreams be filled with wonder and delight. And may you awaken in the morning with a fresh perspective, ready to see the world with new eyes, the clear, bright, and joyful eyes of a child. This is the end of our journey together, for now, but it is also a new beginning. The monastery, the Roshi, and all the people you have met will stay with you, not as memories, but as living wisdom in your heart. Thank you for walking this path with us. Your presence has been a vital part of this journey. We are a community of seekers, dreamers, and friends, connected by our shared desire for peace. Please leave a comment to share your presence with us, and subscribe to continue our travels together. Good night. Sleep with the sweet, untroubled sleep of a beloved child. May you be happy, peaceful, and free. The days grow shorter, and the brilliant gold of early autumn deepens into the more subdued tones of russet and brown. The harvest is complete, and the monastery's storehouses are full. There is a sense of completion in the air, a feeling of gathering in, of preparing for the long, quiet months of winter. The energy in the monastery is calm, focused, and deeply peaceful. One day, a man arrives who is not a seeker of wisdom in the usual sense. He is a cook, a man named Kenji, who was once the head chef for a great lord. He was famous for his elaborate and exquisite dishes, feasts that were spoken of throughout the province. But a political upheaval caused his lord to lose his power, and Kenji lost his prestigious position. He now works in a noisy, rough tavern in a nearby town, cooking simple, greasy food for drunken travelers. He has not come to the monastery with a spiritual question, but with a heart full of bitterness and resentment. He feels that his great talent is being wasted, that his life has been a descent from greatness to mediocrity. He asks to see the Roshi and is directed to the monastery's large, steaming kitchen, where Roshi Kageyama is helping the Tenzo, the head cook, to pickle the last of the daikon radishes. Kenji stands in the doorway, his arms crossed, a sneer on his face. "I was told I would find the great master here," he says, his voice dripping with sarcasm. "I did not expect to find him playing with vegetables." Roshi Kageyama looks up, his hands immersed in a large vat of salted water and radishes. He smiles, unperturbed by the man's rudeness. "In Zen, we do not play with vegetables," he says cheerfully. "We allow them to teach us, and the kitchen is considered one of the most important places of practice in the monastery." "Practice," Kenji scoffs. "I was the greatest chef in this province. My art was celebrated by lords and ladies. Now I flip noodles for peasants. What is there to practice in that? It is a humiliation." "The great Zen master Dogen," the Roshi says, continuing to work with the radishes, "wrote a whole book of instructions for the monastery cook, the Tenzo. He taught that the work of the cook is the work of a bodhisattva, an enlightened being who serves others. He said that the Tenzo must handle every ingredient, even the humblest vegetable, with the same respect and care that he would give to his own eyes." He tells a story, the Roshi continues, of when he was a young monk visiting a monastery in China. He saw the old Tenzo, a man with a long white beard, out in the scorching sun, drying mushrooms on the hot stones of the courtyard. Dogen was filled with pity. "Venerable sir," he said, "why do you do this hard labor yourself? You are so old. Surely you could have a younger monk do it for you." The old cook looked up at Dogen and said, "Young man, you do not understand. If I have someone else do it, then it is not my work. It is not my practice." Dogen asked. "But why do it now, in the hottest part of the day?" The old cook replied, "If I do not do it now, when the sun is hot, when will I do it?" In that moment, Dogen was struck as if by lightning. He understood the profound importance of doing your own work, in the present moment, with your whole being. The bitter chef, Kenji, is silent. The Roshi's story has pierced a small hole in his armor of resentment. "You believe your talent is wasted because you are no longer cooking for lords," the Roshi says, his voice kind but firm. "You are attached to the idea of a great audience and great ingredients. But the true art of cooking is not in the rarity of the ingredients, but in the mind of the cook. To cook with a sincere and compassionate heart for a hungry traveler is a far greater practice than to cook with an arrogant heart for a powerful lord. When you wash the rice, you are washing away your own greed. When you chop the vegetables with precision and care, you are cutting through your own anger. When you tend the fire, you are learning to regulate your own passions. When you serve the meal, you are practicing generosity. Every single act in the kitchen is a chance to polish the mirror of your own mind. The purpose of Zen cooking, the Roshi concludes, is not just to feed the body, it is to nourish the spirit. It is to create a meal that is an expression of the cook's own peaceful and compassionate mind. Such a meal can transform the person who eats it. A simple bowl of noodles, cooked with total presence and a generous heart, can be a greater gift than a 10-course feast cooked with pride and ambition. Kenji looks around the monastery kitchen. It is simple, even rustic, but it is spotlessly clean. The monks who are working move with a quiet, focused grace. They are not just doing a job, they are engaged in a sacred practice. He sees one monk carefully scrubbing a single pot, his face a picture of complete absorption. He sees another sorting through grains of rice, removing any that are broken, his movements gentle and respectful. Something in Kenji's heart begins to melt. The bitterness, the resentment, the feeling of being a victim of circumstance. It all begins to seem so small, so self-indulgent. He has been so focused on what he has lost that he has failed to see the opportunity in what he has. He looks at the Roshi, at the old master's hands, wrinkled and wise, working with the humble radishes. He sees no sense of humiliation, only a quiet joy, a deep and abiding peace. "Master," Kenji says, and this time there is no sarcasm in his voice, only a genuine humility. "Will you teach me how to cook?" Roshi Kageyama's smile is as warm as the kitchen fire. "Of course," he says. "Pick up a knife. We have many vegetables to chop." And so, the great chef begins his new apprenticeship. He learns to cook, not for fame or for praise, but for the simple, profound joy of nourishing life. He learns that the most menial task can be a path to enlightenment if it is done with a whole heart. This story settles into your own heart, a comforting and grounding presence. It reminds you that no matter what your work is, no matter what your station in life, you can make it a sacred practice. The challenges and frustrations of your daily life are not obstacles to your peace. They are the very ingredients of your practice. As you drift towards sleep, you feel a new sense of respect for the ordinary tasks of your own life. You see them not as chores, but as opportunities to practice presence, to cultivate compassion, to find the sacred in the simple. Let your sleep be deep and nourishing. May you awaken with a new sense of purpose, ready to engage with your day, whatever it may hold, with the mindful, compassionate, and joyful spirit of a Zen cook. As the last leaves fall from the trees and the first snows begin to dust the mountain peaks, a deep quiet descends. Winter is coming, a time for stillness, for turning inward, for facing the ultimate truths of existence. It is in this stark and silent season that the final visitor of your journey arrives. She is an old woman. Her name is Hisa, and she is from a distant town. She has not come to the monastery to solve a problem or to learn a new skill. She has come here to die. She has a sickness for which there is no cure, and she knows that her time is short. She wishes to spend her final days in a place of peace and to learn from the Roshi how to face death without fear. Roshi Kageyama does not treat her as a sick person. He welcomes her as an honored guest. He gives her a quiet room with a view of the snow-covered pine trees and the silent, frozen waterfall. He does not speak to her of illness or death. He speaks to her of life. One afternoon, as she is sitting by her window, feeling her strength wane, she asks the question that is in her heart. "Roshi," she says, her voice a thin, dry whisper, like rustling leaves. I am not afraid of pain, but I am afraid of disappearing. I am afraid of the end of me. All my memories, all my loves, all that I have been, will it all just be extinguished like a candle flame? Roshi Kageyama sits with her, his presence a warm and comforting stillness. He takes her old wrinkled hand in his. Hisa-san, he says gently, you think of yourself as a candle flame, but you are not the flame, you are the light. The flame is born, it flickers for a while, and then it dies. It is temporary, it is dependent on the candle and the wax. But the light that comes from the flame, where does it go? It merges with all the other light. It becomes part of the great, boundless light of the universe. It is never lost. Let me tell you a story, he says. It is a story about a wave. There was a little wave dancing on the surface of the ocean. It was having a wonderful time, playing in the sun and the wind. But then it looked around and saw that all the other waves were crashing on the shore and disappearing. "Oh no," the little wave cried. "I am going to disappear. I am going to die." An older, wiser wave nearby saw the little wave's distress. "Why are you so sad?" the old wave asked. "I am going to crash on the shore and be destroyed," the little wave sobbed. "I am going to cease to exist." The old wave smiled. "No, you are not," it said. "You are misunderstanding your own true nature. You think you are a wave, but you are not a wave. You are the ocean." The old woman, Hisa, is listening with her entire being. Her breath is shallow, but her eyes are wide and clear. "You see, Hisa-san," the Roshi explains, "you think you are this body, this personality, this collection of memories. You think you are a separate wave, but your true nature is not the wave. Your true nature is the ocean. The body is born, and it will die. The personality changes, the memories fade, the wave will rise, and it will fall. But the ocean is always here. It is vast, deep, and eternal. It is the very water of life itself. Death is not an end," he continues. "It is a transformation. It is the wave returning to the ocean. It is the light merging with the light. It is the drop of rain returning to the great, boundless sky. There is nothing to fear, because your true self, your ocean self, can never be born and can never die. It is timeless. It is boundless. It is peace itself. When you look at a cloud, you see a cloud. Then the cloud becomes rain, and you no longer see the cloud. Do you think the cloud has died? No, it has just changed its form. It has become the rain, the river, the mist, the tea in your cup. It is still here. It is everywhere. You are the same. You are not just this body. You are all the ancestors who came before you. You are the parents who gave you life. You are the children and grandchildren who carry your life forward. You are the food you have eaten, the air you have breathed, the love you have shared. You are interconnected with everything in the universe. You are not a separate self that can be extinguished." Hisa is silent. Her eyes are closed. A single tear traces a path through the wrinkles on her cheek. But it is not a tear of fear. It is a tear of profound understanding, of release. Do not spend your last days worrying about the future, about the moment of dying, the Roshi says, his voice a gentle lullaby. Be here, now, in this moment. Feel the warmth of the sun on your hand. Listen to the sound of the wind in the pines. Taste the tea in your cup. Every moment is a precious gift. Every moment is eternity. every moment. When the time comes for the wave to return to the ocean, do not resist. Let go, surrender, trust in your own true nature. It is a journey home, a journey to the vast, peaceful, and loving heart of the universe, which is your own heart. In the days that follow, a remarkable change comes over Hissa. Her fear is gone. In its place is a deep and radiant peace. She is no longer a dying woman. She is a living being, savoring each and every moment. She watches the snowfall with the wonder of a child. She listens to the monks chanting with a heart full of joy. She smiles at everyone who enters her room, and her smile is like a blessing, is less than. Her so number is greater than. She has understood that she is not the wave, but the ocean, and in that understanding, she has found true immortality. One morning, the monks find that she has passed away in her sleep. Her face is peaceful, and there is a gentle smile on her lips. She has returned to the ocean. There is no sadness in the monastery, only a deep sense of reverence and gratitude for the life she lived and the lesson she taught. This final story, the story of the dying woman, is the ultimate lesson of your journey. It is the lesson of impermanence and the eternal. It is the final letting go, the ultimate surrender, the supreme peace. It fills you with a profound sense of calm. The small fears and anxieties of your own life seem to fall away in the face of this great truth. You understand that you, too, are the ocean, and there is nothing to fear. As you lie down to sleep, you feel a sense of being held in the vast, loving arms of the universe. You are a wave on the great ocean of being, and you are the ocean itself. You are a flame, and you are the light. You are a fleeting breath, and you are the eternal, boundless sky. Let go of everything. Let go of your thoughts, your worries, your very sense of self. Dissolve into the great peace. Rest in your own true nature. May your sleep be a returning, a dissolving, a journey home, and may you awaken with the courage, the joy, and the profound peace of one who knows that they are eternal. Our journey has reached its end. The circle is complete. From the first blossoms of spring to the deep snows of winter, from the first question of the young samurai to the final peace of the old woman, you have walked the path of Zen. The lessons are now yours. May they be a light for you in the days and years to come. Thank you for your presence, your attention, your open heart. It is an honor to walk this path with you. Please share a part of your journey with us in the comments and subscribe to our channel to continue our shared practice. We are a community, and your presence enriches us all. Good night. May you rest in the boundless ocean of peace. The deep winter holds the monastery in its silent, white embrace. The world is reduced to its essential forms, a living sumi-e painting of black ink on white paper. The days are short, the nights long, and the silence is broken only by the cry of a distant bird or the soft thud of snow falling from a heavy pine bough. It is a time of profound stillness, a time for the deepest introspection. In the midst of this great quiet, a young man arrives. He is an artist, a painter named Toshiro, who specializes in creating exquisite porcelain vases. His work is known for its technical perfection. His lines are flawless. His glazes are immaculate. His forms are perfectly symmetrical. He is a master of his craft, yet he is in despair. He has come to the monastery because he has heard of a legendary, long-lost glaze, a mythical, moon-white glaze that was supposedly perfected by a monk at this very monastery centuries ago. He is obsessed with finding the secret to this perfect glaze, believing it is the one thing he needs to achieve true greatness. He finds Roshi Kageyama in the monastery's small, dusty archives, carefully cleaning and preserving ancient scrolls. Toshiro, impatient and driven, barely manages a respectful bow before launching into his quest. "Roshi," he says, his voice tight with ambition, "I have come for the secret of the moon-white glaze. I have dedicated my life to the pursuit of perfection in my art. I have achieved a level of skill that few can match, but I know that this one secret, this one perfect glaze, is what stands between me and true immortality as an artist. I will do anything. I will pay any price. Please, you must help me." Roshi Kageyama slowly rolls up the scroll he was cleaning. He looks at the young artist, at his fiery eyes and his clenched fists, and he sees a man imprisoned by his own ambition. "Ah, perfection," the Roshi says, his voice a soft sigh, like the wind in the dry winter grass. "It is a beautiful and a terrible master. You have made it your god, and so it torments you." "You seek a perfect glaze," the Roshi continues, "but have you ever considered the beauty of an imperfect one? You strive for flawless symmetry, but have you ever contemplated the profound grace of something that is broken?" He rises and gestures for Toshiro to follow him. He leads him not to a treasure room or a secret library, but to a simple, unadorned wooden shelf in his own quarters. On the shelf sits a single tea bowl. It is a humble, rustic-looking bowl. Its shape is not perfectly round. Its glaze is uneven, with strange, unpredictable marks, and a small, dark crack running down one side. "This," the Roshi says, picking up the bowl with a reverence usually reserved for a sacred object, "is the most valuable piece of pottery in this entire monastery." Toshiro stares at the bowl, bewildered. To his highly trained eye, it is a failure. It is asymmetrical. The glaze is flawed, and it is cracked. It is everything he has spent his life trying to avoid creating. "Master," he says, confused, "I do not understand. This bowl is imperfect." "Precisely," the Roshi says, a gentle smile on his face. "This bowl was made by the great master Sen no Rikyu, the founder of the Way of Tea. He was once invited to the palace of the shogun, who showed him his vast collection of priceless, perfect porcelain from China. The shogun asked Rikyu which piece he found the most beautiful. Rikyu walked past all the flawless, exquisitely decorated vases and bowls, and he stopped before a simple, rough-looking peasant's bowl from Korea that was used for feeding horses. He picked it up and said, 'This one.' The shogun was outraged, but Rikyu explained. 'My lord,' he said, 'these perfect pieces from China are admirable. They speak of great skill and control, but they are cold. They have no heart. This humble Korean bowl, it is alive. It has been shaped by human hands, not just by a perfect technique. It has been used. It has been part of life. Its imperfections tell a story. They speak of the beauty of the real, the transient, the humble. This is the heart of wabi-sabi. This is the heart of Zen." The Roshi hands the tea bowl to Toshiro. The young artist takes it, and he is surprised by how it feels in his hands. It is not cold and hard, like his own perfect creations. It feels warm, organic, almost alive. His fingers trace the uneven surface, the unexpected bumps, the small, dark crack, and for the first time, he feels a connection to a piece of pottery, not as an object of technical admiration, but as a presence. You seek the moon-white glaze, the Roshi says, his voice bringing Toshiro back from his reverie. You imagine it is a pure, flawless, uniform white. But the true moon is not like that. Look at the moon in the sky. It is not a perfect white circle. It has shadows, craters, imperfections. And it is these very imperfections that make it beautiful, that give it character, that make us feel a sense of connection to it. And the moon-white glaze you seek is not a recipe, Toshiro-san. It is a state of mind. It is the letting go of the obsession with control. It is the courage to embrace chance, to welcome accident, to find the beauty in what you would normally call a mistake. Let me tell you one last story, the Roshi says. It is about the monk who created this very bowl. After Rikyu had made it famous, many potters tried to imitate it. They tried to copy its asymmetrical shape, its uneven glaze, even its crack. But all their creations were lifeless. They were artificial, self-conscious imitations of imperfection. One young monk, who was a gifted potter, was also trying to create a bowl with the spirit of wabi-sabi. He made hundreds of bowls, but they were all too perfect, too controlled. In a fit of frustration, he threw one of his freshly made, still wet bowls against the wall of his studio. He was about to scrape up the ruined lump of clay and throw it away, but something stopped him. He looked at the misshapen, damaged form. It had been transformed by the accident. It had a new, strange, and powerful beauty. It was no longer his creation. It was a collaboration between him and chance, between intention and accident. He carefully picked it up, fired it, and glazed it. The result was a bowl that was truly alive, a bowl that had the wild, untamed spirit of Zen. He had discovered that the path to true beauty was not through more control, but through letting go of control. He had to allow the universe to have its say in his work. Toshiro looks down at the cracked tea bowl in his hands. He understands. He has been trying to force beauty into existence, to create it through sheer will and perfect technique. He has not allowed it to arise naturally, with all its unpredictable, imperfect, and breathtaking wonder. His obsession with the moon-white glaze, with the idea of a final, perfect secret, suddenly seems childish. The secret was not in a formula. The secret was in his own mind, in his own clenched and striving heart. He carefully places the tea bowl back on the shelf. He bows to the Roshi, a long, deep bow, not of an ambitious artist, but of a humble student who has just been shown the true path. "Thank you, Master," he says, his voice quiet and transformed. "I will go home now. I believe I have a lot of breaking to do." Roshi Kageyama smiles. He knows that the world of art is about to be enriched by a new kind of beauty, a beauty that is not afraid to be real. This final story, the story of the artist and the broken bowl, is a profound and liberating lesson. It is the permission to be imperfect. It is the understanding that our flaws, our cracks, our vulnerabilities are not things to be hidden or ashamed of. They are the very things that make us human, that make us beautiful, that allow the light to shine through. As you settle into the deep, quiet peace of this winter night, you feel a great burden lifting from your own shoulders. The pressure to be perfect, to always get it right, to never make a mistake. It all dissolves in the gentle, compassionate light of this teaching. You can be yourself, with all your beautiful, glorious imperfections. Let your body relax completely. Let go of all the tension of holding yourself together, of trying to be strong and flawless. You are perfect in your imperfection. You are a unique and unrepeatable expression of life, and your cracks are what make you beautiful. Drift into a sleep that is deep, accepting, and profoundly restful. May you dream of the moon with all its craters and shadows, and may you see it as the most beautiful thing in the universe. May you awaken with a new kindness towards yourself, a new appreciation for the wabi-sabi beauty of your own life. Our journey through the seasons of Zen is now complete. We have walked together through the blossoms of spring, the fullness of summer, the letting go of autumn, and the deep stillness of winter. You have met the samurai, the tea master, the weaver, the scholar, the musician, the general, the gardener, the mother, the cook, the child, the dying woman, and the artist. Each has shared a piece of their journey, a jewel of wisdom, with you. These stories are now yours. They are seeds that have been planted in the garden of your heart. Tend to them, water them with your attention. Let them grow and blossom in your own life, in your own unique way. The path of Zen is not a destination. It is a way of walking, a way of being, a way of loving the world and yourself, just as you are. As you float now, on the edge of a deep and peaceful sleep, feel a profound sense of gratitude for this journey. Gratitude for the teachings, for the peace, for the silence, and for the deep, restorative rest that is about to embrace you. You are a part of this monastery, and its peace is a part of you, forever. Thank you for your quiet companionship. It has been an honor to share this sacred space and time with you. Our community is a circle of quiet hearts, spread all across the globe, connected by our shared longing for peace. Please leave a comment to let us know you were here, and subscribe to continue our journey together. Your presence matters. Good night. May you rest in the perfect imperfection of this moment. May your sleep be a deep and healing balm for your body, your mind, and your soul. And may you awaken to a world made new by the beauty of your own peaceful heart. The late winter sun casts long, pale shadows across the snow. A profound silence holds the monastery, a silence so deep it seems to be the very substance of the world. It is in this atmosphere of pristine quiet that a final visitor arrives. He is an old man, a master calligrapher named Isamu, whose work is treasured in the highest circles of the imperial court. His hand is steady, his lines are legendary, but his heart is troubled. He finds Roshi Kageyama sitting in the zendo, the meditation hall, in the deep stillness of Zazen. Isamu, familiar with the protocols of Zen, enters quietly, takes a cushion, and sits. He does not speak. He simply joins the Roshi in the silence. For an hour, they sit together as the light outside begins to fade. The only movement is the slow, rhythmic rising and falling of their chests. The only sound is the sound of their breathing, merging with the great silence of the room. When the period of Zazen is over, the Roshi strikes a small bell, its clear, pure tone, cutting through the stillness like a diamond. He turns to the calligrapher. "Welcome, Isamu-san," he says, as if he had been expecting him. "Your brush has been heavy lately." Isamu looks at the Roshi, his old face a mask of dignified sorrow. "Master," he says, his voice raspy with disuse, "I have come to a dead end. I have practiced my art for 70 years. I have copied the great sutras. I have created works of art that hang in the emperor's palace. I have mastered every stroke, every form. But now, when I pick up the brush, there is nothing there. My lines are technically perfect, but they are empty. They are corpses. The spirit has fled from my ink. I fear I have reached the end of my art and the end of my life as a hollow man, and cries. Roshi Kageyama listens, his gaze unwavering and deeply compassionate. You have mastered the art of doing, he says softly, but you have forgotten the art of not doing. Your brush is heavy because your mind is too full. You are full of 70 years of skill, of fame, of Isamu, the great calligrapher. There is no room for the spirit to enter. You are trying to paint the perfect character, the Roshi continues, but the character is not the goal. The character is just the trail left behind by the moment of enlightenment. You are trying to copy the trail, but you have lost the experience itself. You must become empty again, Isamu-san. You must become a beginner. He leads the old calligrapher from the zendo to a small, empty room. The only thing in the room is a single, large sheet of white paper spread on the floor. There is an inkstone, an ink stick, and a single, simple brush. I do not want you to paint a character, the Roshi says. I do not want you to paint a picture. I want you to give me a single stroke, a single line. But I want this line to contain your entire life, your 70 years of joy and sorrow, of love and loss, of struggle and peace. I want it to contain the silence of this winter mountain and the cry of the hawk in the sky. I want it to contain the vast, empty, and luminous nature of your own mind. Isamu is stunned. He has painted countless thousands of strokes in his life, but he has never been asked to do this. He has always been painting something, a word, a poem, a landscape. He has never been asked to paint everything, nothing. He picks up the brush. His hand, for the first time in decades, is trembling. He feels the immense weight of the Roshi's request. How can he put his whole life into a single line? How can he express the boundless nature of his mind? He tries. He loads the brush with ink. He holds it over the paper. He thinks about his life. He thinks about Zen. He tries to make a perfect, meaningful stroke. But his mind is a whirlwind of concepts, of memories, of ambitions. His hand is paralyzed. He cannot begin. For hours, he stands there, a statue of frustration. The Roshi sits in the corner, silent, watching. He offers no help, no encouragement, no instruction. Finally, in a moment of utter despair, Isamu gives up. He lets go. He realizes he cannot do it. It is impossible. And in that moment of complete surrender, something shifts. His mind, which has been striving and struggling, suddenly becomes empty. The 70 years of his life, the concepts of Zen, the desire to impress the Roshi, it all falls away. There is only the white paper, the black ink, the simple brush. There is only the silence of the room. There is only this one, present moment. And in that moment, his hand moves. It moves by itself. It is not his hand. It is the hand of the universe. The brush descends, and with a single, swift, and unhesitating gesture, it makes a line on the paper. It is not a straight line. It is not a curved line. It is a line that is both and neither. It is a stroke of breathtaking power and exquisite grace. It is bold, and it is delicate. It is full of movement, and it is full of stillness. It is the cry of a newborn baby and the last sigh of a dying man. It is a perfect circle that is not closed, an enso, a symbol of the universe, of enlightenment, of the void, and the fullness. Isamu stares at the line. He did not create it. It was created through him. He feels a torrent of emotion, of release, of a joy so profound it brings tears to his eyes. He has been practicing for 70 years, and only now, in this moment of complete letting go, has he made his first true stroke. Roshi Kageyama walks over and looks at the paper. He nods slowly. "Yes," he says, his voice filled with warmth. "The spirit has returned to your ink. Welcome home, Isamu-san." This final story is the culmination of all the others. It is the ultimate lesson in letting go, in the creative power of emptiness, in the wisdom of beginner's mind. It is the understanding that true mastery is not the accumulation of skill, but the complete dissolution of the self. As you lie on the threshold of sleep, let this story be your final guide. Let go of all your own striving. Let go of the person you think you are, the skills you think you have, the problems you think you need to solve. Let it all fall away. Become an empty vessel. Become a hollow bamboo. Become a clear mirror. Rest in the vast, silent, and creative emptiness of your own true nature. There is nothing you need to do, nothing you need to become. You are already complete. You are already home. Float now in this boundless ocean of peace. Let the gentle currents of your breath carry you into the deepest, most restorative sleep you have ever known. May your dreams be as free and as beautiful as a master's single, perfect, unhesitating stroke. Our journey through the seasons of Zen is now truly at its end. The last story has been told. The last lesson has been learned. The circle is complete. May the peace and wisdom of this place stay with you always, a silent, guiding presence in the heart of your life. Thank you for the honor of your company. Our small community, scattered across the world, is united by these moments of shared peace. Please, leave a comment to share your light with us and subscribe to continue our journey. Every voice adds to the chorus of peace. Good night. Rest well. May you awaken to a life filled with the effortless grace and boundless creativity of an empty mind. As you lie in this space of profound peace, on the very edge of sleep, let the essence of all these stories permeate your being. They are not just tales of long-ago masters in a faraway land. They are stories about you. They are a mirror reflecting the geography of your own soul, the path of your own journey home. You are the young samurai, learning that true strength is not the absence of fear, but the vast, open heart that can hold fear without being defined by it. Your anxieties, your insecurities, your moments of doubt, they are not your enemies. They are clouds passing through the boundless sky of your awareness. You do not need to fight them. You only need to let them pass, knowing that your true nature, the sky itself, remains untouched, clear, and serene. You are the tea master, striving for a perfection that always seems just out of reach. Your life, your work, your relationships, you have approached them with such care, such dedication, but perhaps you have been too focused on the perfect outcome and have missed the sacred beauty of the process. The lesson of the way of tea is to find the sublime in the simple act of doing. When you pour, just pour. When you listen, just listen. When you love, just love. Let go of the attachment to the result, and you will find the perfect tranquility you seek in the heart of this very moment. You are the weaver, your creative well run dry, your spirit feeling barren. You have been searching for inspiration outside of yourself, trying to force the patterns to emerge. The lesson of the weaver is to be still, to put down the tools of your craft and simply be with the world, to walk in the forest, to listen to the rain, to watch the light change. Let the world seep into you, fill you, until you are overflowing. Then, when you return to your loom, you will not need to create. The universe will create through you. Your life will become a tapestry woven with the threads of the cosmos. You are the scholar, your mind a magnificent library filled with books, ideas, and philosophies. You have sought truth in knowledge, but have found only more questions. The lesson of the scholar is to empty your cup. The truth you seek is not another idea to be added to your collection. It is a direct, unmediated experience of reality. It is found not in thinking, but in the silence between your thoughts. Let go of what you know, and you will open yourself to the vast, unspoken wisdom of what is. You are the musician. Your song has gone silent, your heart hollow. You have been playing from memory, from technique, from the ego that desires applause. The lesson of the shakuhachi is to become a hollow bamboo, to empty yourself of yourself, so that the great wind of the spirit can blow through you. The most beautiful music is not the music you make, but the music that you allow to be made through you. Listen to the silence, and in that silence, you will find your true sound. You are the general, haunted by the ghosts of your past, the weight of your responsibilities. You have lived a life of struggle, of defense, of building walls. The lesson of the warrior of the open gate is to learn the power of surrender. Your memories, your regrets, your burdens, they are not enemies to be conquered. They are visitors seeking passage. Open the gate. Let them come and let them go. In non-resistance, you will find a peace that is stronger than any fortress. You are the gardener, your hands in the earth, your heart in tune with the seasons. You have always felt a quiet wisdom in your work, and now you know it to be true. The earth is the greatest of all masters. It teaches patience, generosity, and the miracle of transformation. Your everyday life, your simple tasks, are your zendo. There is no separation between the mundane and the sacred. Your life, just as it is your path to enlightenment. You are the mother, your love a fierce and worried thing. You have given your heart to others and have felt the pain of attachment and the fear of loss. The lesson of canon is to transform your love from the light of a lantern to the light of the Sunday, to breathe in the suffering of the world and to breathe out boundless compassion. Your heart is not a small, fragile thing. It is as vast as the universe, capable of holding all of life with a tender, unwavering, and unconditional love. You are the cook, your talent feeling wasted, your spirit bitter. You have been judging your worth by the audience you serve. The lesson of the Tenzo is that any work done with a whole and sincere heart is the work of a bodhisattva. To nourish another being, whether a king or a beggar, is the highest practice. In the simple act of chopping a vegetable, you can find the path to your own liberation. You are the artist, obsessed with perfection, imprisoned by your own skill. You have sought beauty in the flawless, the symmetrical, the controlled. The lesson of the broken tea bowl is to embrace the beauty of imperfection, of the transient, of the real. Your cracks, your flaws, your vulnerabilities, they are not mistakes. They are the signatures of your humanity. They are the places where the light gets in. You are the old woman, facing the great mystery of death. You have feared the extinguishing of the flame, the end of the wave. The lesson of the ocean is to know your own true nature. You are not the wave. You are the ocean. You are not the flame. You are the light. Your true self was never born, and it will never die. Death is not an end, but a returning home. And finally, you are the child, chasing a butterfly, completely absorbed in the wonder of the present moment. This is your original face, the face you had before you were born. It is the mind of wonder, of joy, of uncomplicated presence. All of practice, all of Zen, is simply a journey back to this, your own, true, and ever-present home. As these truths settle into the deepest layers of your being, feel yourself letting go completely. There is nothing left to do, nothing left to solve, nothing left to seek. You are here, now, in this moment, and it is complete. It is perfect. You are held in a great and loving silence. You are peace itself. Let the last vestiges of thought dissolve like mist in the morning Sunday. Let your body sink into a state of profound and blissful rest. You are floating, drifting, on a vast and tranquil sea, under a sky of 1 billion silent stars. The journey is over. The rest is deep. The peace is infinite. Good night. May your sleep be a journey into the heart of the great silence, and may you awaken, as if for the first time, to a world shimmering with the beauty and the wonder of your own enlightened mind. Thank you, dear friend, for sharing this path. Your presence has made the journey complete. May you carry this peace with you, and may it ripple out from you, touching all those you meet. We are all in this together. Your peace is the world's peace. Please, leave a comment to share your part of this global moment of quiet, and subscribe to continue the journey. We are deeply grateful for your presence in our community. Sleep now. Sleep in peace.